Hi and welcome back to my channel. This is Dr. Getty, Academic Mama in Hong Kong. And this week, this is my current read for the week, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. This is not the first time I'm reading this book. It is one of those books that I keep coming back to. And in every season of my life when I read it, there's a different lesson. So everyone has that book that they always go back to, and every time you read it, there's a different lesson that you find from that book. So every day before I start my work, I like to read at least one chapter in the morning, and it helps me to come up with ideas. Even though the book itself is not related to any of the work that I'm doing, when I read a creative book or a self-help book, it serves as a catalyst for my own ideas, and then I'm able to actually do my own creative work. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking around with me. Today, in this video, I'm going to share with you top 5 study tips for a PhD student. So if you have a nephew, a cousin, a brother, a sister who's doing a PhD, please share this video with them. I am doing this video because I don't want you to struggle the way I struggled when I was a PhD student. Back when I did my PhD in 2016, there were very few resources for PhD students, particularly those that come from the global south or countries that are non-English speaking. So I'm doing this to help you so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Let's get right into it. Tip number 1. You need to forget everything you think you know about studying or reading. If you've done your master's, you probably think you know everything there is to know about reading. But reading for a PhD is a different ballgame, right? It is so different from what you think you're used to. So, the first thing I would like to advise you is to read outside of your field or your area. So, let's say you're studying engineering, let's say you're studying social work, sociology. The first advice I'll give you is to study widely, not just engineering papers and books. You need to actually study other fields, other areas that are related to your work. So, for example, I'm a social worker, I'm a sociologist. I would go and study articles in psychology, I would study articles in cultural studies, I would study articles in history, because there are times when you might want to explain the history of the area that you're working on and you want it from a historical perspective. So, history will actually come in there. And these days, for PhDs, interdisciplinary approaches are very welcome. So you need to be able to have an interdisciplinary approach to your work. That means your work is borrowing from many different fields, and that will be an advantage for you. So if you're just reading on your subject alone or your area of work alone, you're doing it the wrong way. You need to read as widely as possible. That means even if it's not your subject area, you read things that are related to it. You read business, you read psychology, you read sociology. In the first year of your PhD, all you need to do is to just get grounded on your topic and really read as wide as possible to find the different linkages that you can possibly find from many different perspectives. So you cannot only read it from the perspective of the people in your field, you need to read as widely as possible. Tip number 2. Reading can be overwhelming. Any PhD student will tell you that they probably have folders and folders of papers that they've downloaded. Even post PhD, I'm doing my postdoc now. Post PhD, we still download papers that we say we're going to read and never actually get to it. There's so many books in our libraries, there's so many books at home, but we never actually get the chance to read through them. How many of us have actually read a book from cover to cover, right? So reading is not easy, and there's just so much material that it can actually be very, very overwhelming. Where do you even begin? So, my tip for you today is summaries. Did you know that you can get book summaries online? You don't need to actually read a book cover to cover thanks to AI technology these days. Today, I want to share with you about 15 minutes.ai. With 15 minutes.ai, you can quickly generate book summaries and key insights of the books that you're interested in. You can access multiple formats on the website. You can get a PDF, an e-publication, ebook, or audio summaries for those of you who want to listen on the go. In just 15 minutes and for as little as $9.99, you can get access to thousands and thousands of books that you're interested in very, very short and concise format. So you head on over to 15minutes.ai, the website, and you get to the home page, and you can actually browse the different types of books that you're interested in: self-help, psychology, leadership books, philosophy. So many options to choose from. I'm in social work, so I was busy searching for social work related books. There we go. And as you can see, there's so many options to choose from. And the book that I'm going to use as an example today is, let's see, The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. So I read this book a couple of years ago, but let's just see how it will be summarized by 15minutes.ai. So just gonna click into The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. It's a therapeutic book based on real life experiences. So when you click in there, you see that there is the book title, the book cover, and everything. And then it tells you the genre of the book, and then you can see that it has been summarized to 23 minutes, and it contains 9 key ideas from the book. So you'll be able to basically know what the book is about in only 23 minutes of reading. You can also listen to it as an audio, but let's see the brief synopsis that they have. So you will have all the different chapters. And as I said, you can also listen on the go if you're in the gym or you want to walk. So you will see that there are different chapters that they've summarized, just giving you a short form of all the key ideas in the book, and you will have a title of what the chapter is about. So for someone who doesn't want to read the book cover to cover, once you get the summary, you'll be able to know what the book is about. So I highly recommend 15minutes.ai. You can also see all the self-help books, the popular titles: Atomic Habits, 5 a.m. Club. If you want summaries of that, you can also do that. Let's have a look at Atomic Habits. It's been summarized to 21 minutes, as you can see. So if you're one person that does not like to read cover to cover, this is the best website to check out. James Clear, Atomic Habits. There you have it, only 21 minutes, or you can also listen to the audiobook. As I said, there are many different options to choose from. If you want sociology, you can see there's so many different titles for books that you can actually summarize as you are doing your literature review, as you're doing your personal study. So head on over to 15minutes.ai. I am going to put a link in the description box, and you can use my code to actually sign up for 15minutes.ai and get your summaries today. I just told you that you need to read widely. So you're not just reading academic books. What I do every day is to start before I do my own writing, my own reading. I read uh, a book that has nothing to do with my topic. For example, as I shared with you, I'm reading As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. This book teaches you how to think. It teaches you how to control the thoughts in your mind so that you're not having negative thoughts in your day, and just how to have purpose in life. So when I read a chapter from this book, it channels my creative energies, and I'll be able to now focus on academic work. So don't just limit yourself to reading academic work. Tip number 3: Work when you're feeling most productive. I work better at night. So you won't find me trying to do creative writing work or trying to read papers or trying to write a paper first thing in the morning, because that's not my most productive hour. So you need to think about what is the most productive hour for you. Do you work better at night? Are you a night owl, or you work better in the morning? I work better at night. So I prefer to rest during the day or do other things like YouTube during the day, scripting, creative work, or writing on my blog. And then in the evening, I focus more on what I want to do. The good thing about doing a PhD is that it's so flexible that you can actually plan your day, that you work in the evening. Maybe that's the time you feel more comfortable to go to the office. PhD students share an office, and some people might not be comfortable to share their office space. So some people prefer to work from home. So just find what works for you. It's not a copy and paste thing. You cannot copy what someone else is doing. You really need to find your own rhythm. Schedule the hardest tasks for when you have the most energy. So for me, I have zero energy in the morning. I'm not a morning person. So I schedule all my key tasks, especially the things that need me to do deep work or deep thinking. I do those things mostly mid afternoon to the evening. But writing, I do that much better in the PM hours at night. It's very, very common to find me working on my computer even into midnight. But that's just because that's the time when I'm most creative, when I'm most alert. So find your clock, find what works for you and do that, and do not copy. And remember, 2 hours of focused work is so much better than spending 8 hours on your laptop just to prove that you can work for 8 hours. You can actually produce much more efficiently if you just do blocks of your time. Block 2 hours when you're most effective, when you're most productive. Shift environments for creativity. Any PhD student will tell you, probably not in their first year, but in the years when they now have found their rhythm and they know what they're doing, any PhD student will tell you that sometimes they feel comfortable to work outside of the office. Sometimes you go to a cafe, you go to a Starbucks, find a comfortable cafe that you actually can work from. I love working at cafes because I love my coffee and I love environments with quiet ambience. In Hong Kong, there's so many shared workspaces where you can get this cafe environment and a library environment, even if it's out of home. So, if you're able to work in an institution that doesn't require you to always be in the office, then shift your environment. Go to a cafe for an hour or two, maybe do your writing from there or do your reading from there. You can actually schedule which tasks you want to do outside of the office. If you write better in an environment where you can take a break and do people watching, or if you get distracted too much, then that's probably not good for you. But if you're able to focus in a quiet cafe like I can, then you can go and spend an hour or two in a nice cafe and do your work. Tip number 5: collaborate with other PhD students and postdocs. A PhD can be a very lonely experience. A lot of us are working on different topics. It's very difficult to find two people working on the same topic in the same department. Everyone kind of has their own idea, and you're building your own research agenda and all of that. So it's very rare. You can have similar themes, but it's very rare to have people that are working on exactly the same thing, because the idea of a PhD is that you're coming up with something original. So everyone is kind of working on something different. But what I would suggest is that find people to collaborate with. This ties in with the theme that I spoke about earlier of interdisciplinary work. Even if you have people in psychology, cultural studies, I mostly speak about social sciences and humanities because that's my field. Find people to collaborate with so that you get faster results. Someone might have empirical data in cultural studies that might fit into what you are busy thinking about theoretically. So then you can actually collaborate, bring your theory to their empirical findings, and collaborate and write a paper together. And that can actually make your studying easier, your writing faster, and you get results faster. You can actually collaborate to study together. Back in the day when I did a PhD, they used to do what is called shut up and write workshops. So you would go even online and everyone just shuts up and writes, right? So it's a way to encourage each other to write, because writing can be, as I said, very lonely, very isolating experience. So when you know everyone else is busy writing in this hour, you tend to be able to focus, and then there's accountability, and then you're able to tell each other, you start with a goal initially and you say, I want to write 200 words in this session, and by the time you leave that session you will have those 200 words, because there are other people that you're accountable to. So that's just another tip that I would give you. Find a way to collaborate with others if you can. It doesn't have to be physically collaborating. You can collaborate online. Use LinkedIn as a space to find people that are doing the same things that you're doing. Write papers together, share literature together, because sometimes that's where studying becomes so difficult, because you're working on your own literature by yourself. You don't have support. But if you are sharing literature with others, then you get to read some papers that they were able to find that maybe you were not able to find. So, which of these ideas works for you? Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? What time do you feel most productive? And from the ideas that I shared, which one do you think would be most effective for you? And I wish you a productive PhD, because everyone would do a PhD because they want to achieve something at the end of the day. But we know there's so many PhDs that end up quitting because it is so difficult, or they cannot achieve their goals. And this is why it's very important to know and structure your work so that you're able to actually start and finish the PhD, particularly if you're in funding. There's so much pressure on you to actually complete the PhD. So, this is why this video will be very important, so that you learn what are some of the things that I can do if I'm struggling with my PhD.